name is Sandra and I'm here to give a little lecture on lowering your cholesterol. So before I even start, does anybody know the difference between like HDL and LDL, and why HDL is considered your good cholesterol? Yes.
Because HDL is the one that pretty much picks up after LDL, so it's the one who like takes cholesterol away, like right out of the body.
Okay, good. All right, so just to kind of give you a little information of the two differences. So HDL, as she said, is considered our good cholesterol, and LDL is considered our bad cholesterol. Our score, usually when you go to a doctor and you ask for them to give you your score of your cholesterol levels, it's made up of these three things: your HDL, LDL, and triglycerides. Triglycerides are made up of lipids in your body, and that gives us our total cholesterol. So when you go to the doctor, like I said, you get a score. Now, in order to determine whether you have a good score or bad, you want to be in the ranges of 200 or less. It's 200 milligrams per deciliter. That's considered being in a good range. Now, if you're somewhere between 200 to 239, it's kind of being borderline. So you kind of want to start, if you haven't already, to control what you're eating, maybe change a few habits, in your daily life, like maybe adding exercise if you don't have any, or changing your eating habits as well. Now, if you're at 240 or higher, you're at a higher risk of developing like a stroke, heart issue, things like that, which we obviously don't know. Now, to kind of give you a little idea as to what happens. Now, this right here is considered a healthy artery, what we normally want. Now, over here, we can see that we don't want this. This yellow stuff right here, that's plaque that's starting to build up. Plaque is made up of your LDL, which kind of starts building up on the sides. Now when it builds up on the sides, kind of like you see here, it starts to kind of make your arteries smaller in comparison to this one. Now we don't want this. The reason why is because you have like a force, you're not getting enough blood and oxygen to your organs, which we obviously need in order to function properly. Now, when this gets worse, we get a situation like this. We can have a rupture in our artery. Now, when that happens, we have a plaque that kind of starts to go through and travel in your bloodstream. So, in order to, your body kind of fixes it on its own. When it usually has a rupture like this, your blood kind of coagulates in the rupture. Now, when this happens, you have a little coagulation, no big deal. But once it kind of keeps happening, you get a big coagulation of blood trying to cover your rupture. Now when this happens, blood no longer flows. And when you have that, your blood isn't flowing, no oxygen, you can have a stroke, develop a heart attack, and it can obviously lead to your death. No good, right? So in order to kind of help control these things, we want to look at a few things. When you're going shopping, when you're buying things, you want to make changes. We shouldn't just go to the store, get a few things, and not look at food labels. But the thing is, what do we look at when we look at food labels? And it's for a situation like this, when you want to control your cholesterol levels, we look at this, we look at our fats. You don't want to intake too much fat because that starts to build up in your body, starts to narrow your arteries like we just discussed. Now, sometimes you want to reduce your trans fats, but sometimes you get labels where it says, oh, 0 trans fats. You still don't want to just dismiss it and just grab it. You want to look at your ingredients. Now here it says 0 trans fats, right? But if you don't look at the ingredients where it says partially hydrogenated cottonseed oil, that's another form of saying it's a trans fat. It's an oil that's been transformed to become a trans fat. Now, when it's in smaller quantities, food labels are allowed to do stuff like this. but you should always just double check on your ingredients. Alright, so what are some foods that we can eat that can lower our cholesterol, right? Just regular foods. We got some oats. You know, you can eat your oats in cereal, in granola bars, mix it up a bit. You can also have nuts. Whatever nuts you like. You know, some people don't like some versus others, but you can mix them up every day, a little bit, handful. Try not to eat too much because they are a little bit higher in fat. It's the good fat, which we want, but you should also still try to portion yourself. We have our fruits. Now, here's a little dish I put. I'm gonna give you guys some ideas of what you can do. Cut some apples, some strawberries. They can help lower your cholesterol and have the good cholesterol that we want, which is our HDL. We have some beans, all type of legumes that you may like. Different preferences, hummus, pinto beans. And then I have a few other pictures here, like your grapes, your apples, stuff like that. Now, I'm going to demonstrate how to make oatmeal a little more fun besides just doing the plain old bags that we usually get. Alrighty, so we're going to put our coat on, so in case you're in your kitchen, you don't want to spill anything. You're going to work, you don't want to dirty yourself. So, gotta put something on, and we'll put some gloves on. Now I have all the ingredients I'm going to be using. We got our banana, an apple, some oats. I got the Coach oats from Costco. I like them because the texture is a little bit different. We need our water and spoon some spices to kind of give it a little flavor. We've got some cinnamon and some allspice. And then to give it a little extra crunch, we've got some almonds. Alright, so the first step to kind of do your little breakfast thing here is to get 1/3 a cup of our oats. I already kind of pre-measured it, but just to kind of give you guys an image of what 1/3 of oats looks like. It's about this. This is before you cook it. Okay, we had this was, I believe, it was 2/3 of water. So I put this in here. So we're going to actually have this cooking while we cut a few things. We're going to be putting about 2 minutes. Now, microwaves vary, so... Uh-oh. Having a little sugar. There we go. 2 minutes. Like I said, it varies. Some microwaves may heat up a little bit more, but hopefully we don't get a spill. Now, we're going to start out with cutting our apple. You can put I got a little apple for one dish. You normally don't need a lot. So just to kind of give it a little flavor. I'm going to cut out the core. I'm going to eating, it's not so fun to eat. You normally want to cut the apple into small pieces so you can kind of have an even distribution around your oatmeal. So we're going to cut it small. If you like bigger chunks, you can always cut them a little bit bigger. Make sure you get a good coat that's not too long on the sleeves. Stuff like that can happen. You don't want it to get stuck on your clothes and have an accident. Got to peel our banana. Again, I like even distribution, so I like to cut it kind of small. So kind of cut it in half. Look at this. And then we just keep slicing along the way. Now, for your almonds, I actually pre-cut them, but you can actually buy the almonds pre-cut. So this is is what they look like before I cut them. But I diced them beforehand, so you're gonna have like little pieces along like this. So our oats should be ready. Now it's gonna be a little hot, so be careful when taking it out of the microwave. We have our spoon, mix it up a bit. It usually says to kind of let it sit for about a minute before you start eating it. So in the meantime, we're gonna mix it, start adding all our other ingredients. Make sure we smash just a little bit of the banana so we can get that sweet texture from the banana in our oats. Okay. We're gonna add our almonds. Gonna add some cinnamon. Like cinnamon, it has a good smell, good flavor. Just put a little bit. It's a little strong, so we don't want it to overpower. And then a little bit of allspice. And after that, just mix it. And you're pretty much set. You can actually have a good healthy breakfast, help keep your cholesterol levels low and your HDL high. And well, does anybody have any questions?
What's the allspice taste like? I've never had that.
It's kind of like a combination of different stuff. Like it has a little bit of cinnamon, but I like a little bit extra, which is why I put a little bit more. It has some other stuff. I think it's this one doesn't have it, but there's some that listed. It's nutmeg, I believe, cinnamon, and one more thing. It has like a unique smell.
Like a sweet though?
Yeah, they usually use it for like pastries and stuff
Okay.
like that. So it kind of gives it an interesting little kick. You can also do your oatmeal in different ways too. It doesn't necessarily have to be this way, just to kind of give you guys an idea. Any other questions? Alright, well, thank you for joining me during my presentation, and I hope you learned a few things about how to manage and control your cholesterol.